This is a bit of a disclaimer for any of you guys that are new to the PC Engine or Turbografx communities. You know, say you just got word of this thing called the Turbografx, or say you got all these Nintendo games and you got all these Genesis games and you're like, man, I've got every game on my shelf just like this, and I'm like, and there's like thousands more, right? And you're like, I want to see something new, I want to try something new. And you hear about this thing called the Turbografx-16 and you're like, I gotta have that. I gotta get all those games now. And then you get into this community, you get yourself a Turbografx-16 and you find out the games are a little bit more expensive, they're harder to find, and you're wondering, what the hell am I supposed to do? So then you go and you join these forums, or you join the Facebook groups, and you're like, hey, I just got a Turbografx, do you think somebody could sell me some games? I'm looking for, you know, and you're going to say, like, I'm looking for Magical Chase, and I'm looking for R-Type, and I'm looking for Shockman, and you know, you start listing off all the rarest games and the hardest ones to find. And then you start getting shit from people. People start joking right away on your thread, or if you jump on the forums, you know, the PC Engine FX forums, or, you know, even the Sun Team Paul's forums, or even, you know, call me crazy, but you might even jump to the duofile.com forums, and you're asking for people to sell you cheap games, or you're looking to join a raffle, because we raffle games all the time in the community, and you're wondering, why on earth am I getting such shit from these people? Why are they treating me like garbage, like complete shit, the first time I post something? This has got to be something that a lot of people probably go through, and a lot of good people probably go through, and they're wondering, why is everyone such a dick in the Turbografx community? And I got to tell you, it's not that we're dicks. It's not. The thing is the Turbo community is a tiny place. The Turbografx-16 in the US did not sell that well in the US. So not a whole lot of people got to experience that. Not as many people, not even close to as many people as Nintendo and the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo or any of that stuff. So that's why you're jumping into the Nintendo craze and you're able to collect for it, and you're able to have like stacks of games all over. You can have a whole line of games sitting on your shelf that you're never going to play, and no one's really going to give a shit because there's 5 million copies of each one of these games somewhere in the country. And some of the rare stuff, you know, those are only what the biggest collectors in the country have anyway. But the Turbo itself, the common games, or the games that are, you know, not all that uncommon, are still pretty rare in comparison to Nintendo games. And if you're looking to jump into our community, if you're looking to jump into our library, or what we have currently available in the United States of America, that game, you know, universe, you're looking to jump into that, and you want to buy games to put them on a shelf, you're going to catch some flack from us, because, and by us I mean myself and, you know, maybe 100 other people, or dozens of other people that have been playing the Turbo since it started, have been into this entire Turbografx universe, or the PC Engine universe, since the late 80s and early 90s. Like, this is what we've been playing since then, and we're still playing it because it's fucking awesome. And to find out that someone's buying up games that are really hard to find, few and far between to find, in the wild, or if you're buying them off eBay for ridiculous prices, or if you're buying them off other people in the forums, or buying them off other people on Facebook, or whatever Instagram groups you're in, or whatever like that, social networking in general, online in general, if we find out that you're just putting them on a shelf and you're not playing them, that pisses us off, because I can't find a lot of the really rare games. I want to have them to play them. So if you're looking to join in this community, the best thing to do is just talk. Talk to us, find out what are the good games, what are the shit games, what are the overpriced games, what are the obnoxious games, what are the fun games that you can find for like under 10 bucks, because you literally can. You just gotta keep your eyes open and watch auctions on eBay, or for sales on Amazon, or even in the forums themselves when people are fire sales of their games and whatnot. Or even do reproductions, because there's lots of ways. You know, you can play CDRs on a Turbo Duo. You can play You know, there are other methods. There's EverDrives. Is that what they're called? EverDrives, that you can put all the Turbo games onto one little SD card and slam it into a drive and play it in your Turbografx. Have the entire library that way. We want to play with gamers. We want to play. We want to talk. We want to converse. And we want to play with people that are interested in the same thing that we're interested in. And that's it. We don't. I won't say that not every one of us are collectors, because some of us are collecting games no matter how shitty they are and they know they're never going to play them. You know, gosh, I'm looking at some of my games here, but like Night Creatures is a great example. I don't hate this game. I own it because it was given to me as a gift, you know, as a trade, or you know, we did a swap at a show, and because the instruction manual, oh shit, there it goes. Because the instruction manual's all beat up and the game's got some scuff marks on it, they didn't think it was worth anything, so they put it up for trade, and then I put some games up that I had for trade that aren't in the best condition. I don't know how much this goes for, and I don't care. It's got its weird quirks to it, and it's got really strange gameplay elements. A lot of people despise it, but I wouldn't own it if I hated it. You know, I would not have this if I hated it. If I hated this game, I would trade it to someone else. I'm not owning the entire collection for the sake of just having them all. I know some people that do, and that's totally fine. That's what they want to do. That's what they've always done, or that's how they live. But jumping into the Turbografx community, knowing that you're a big collector of all these other games, systems, and things like that, and just jumping in and saying, oh hey, I just heard about the Turbo a week ago and I need to have all those games. So, you know, I'm willing to pay whatever. If I gotta pay $5 grand for Magical Chase, cool. Then I'm gonna do it. That is really irritating, and you gotta know that if you're gonna jump into our community and you start off with that kind of stuff, you're gonna get responses like, hey, piss off, or hey, go to hell, or you know, yeah, sure, I'll give you Keith Courage for $800. It's really rare, you know, hey. I feel for you guys. I understand you guys are getting into something new and you might have a completely different mindset about how you should treat these games, and some people want them like, oh, you gotta shrink wrap them and you gotta put them in these BGA protected boxes and you gotta protect them because they're not gonna last forever. But like, dude, but then there's someone else who thinks, oh my god, they're just video games, let's just play them while we got them, otherwise they're gonna fall apart and decompose into soil, and then we're not going to have these games anymore. Just to say though that you're brand new to this community and you're trying to figure out how to talk to people, like I said, we just want to talk to you guys. So we just want to find out what you're interested in, and you got to find out what games are available and what's, you know, fun to play in. And you know, we talk about strategies and tips and tricks and all kinds of fun stuff in the forums, and that's what we're really there for. I mean, there are buying and selling going on, but it's kind of in between the community itself. We don't want to necessarily sell or trade to people outside of the community so that they're going to go and flip it and put it on eBay when they find out that the Turbo isn't really for them, and then you find games online for $500 for Terraforming or $700, $800 for Super Air Zonk. These games that, my god, they're not worth it. They're just not worth that much. They can't possibly be. Check local stores, check thrift stores, you know, check eBay, of course, and check online auctions, other websites, and get yourself a system and have fun with it. Don't collect it to collect it. Don't collect the crazy-ass games, expensive ones, and then you're like, now what do I got? You know, because it's a pretty big, it's a big mountain to climb. But I definitely got to say, we're all about gaming on the forums, and if you're looking to talk about gaming, then PCEngineFX.com is your place. Check the Facebook pages for all the Turbografx groups. There's the one and only PC Engine Obey, and then there's like Turbografx fans, and then there's just Turbografx group or something like that. There's lots of places to go. So I hope this was sort of informational. I don't know if it was really good or anything, but if not, let me know, because I'll never do one of these again if no one gives a shit. So anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And yeah, if you're wondering, like, you know, hey dickwad, you've got a shitload of games up here too. Like, I don't consider this a collection. I consider this like a game library. Like, we got so many games to pick from, and 99% of these are purchased from thrift stores. Local thrift stores, cheap, sometimes cheap gaming stores, and if they're slipping on their prices or whatever. But like, I swear I don't pay anything more than a couple bucks for any of these games. Even the rarer ones. And a lot of these were games that were in our collections. Like, my wife never got rid of her game stuff. I did. Like in 2008, I sold almost everything. But my wife never did, so that's why a lot of these rarer, harder to find games. Turtles Tournament Fighters on the NES, she's had that since it first came out, so. But a lot of these other ones, thrift stores, man. Just go out and look around thrift stores. Goodwills. Those kind of places like that. Anything. Savers or half-price books, types of stores like that. You know, and the reason I consider this a game library and not a video game collection is because I pull games out of my library all the time and take them to places. I have game nights here with me and my friends. We play these games. I have conventions that I go to. We go to EverCon in central Wisconsin. There's Pizza and Games that's in central Wisconsin. That's in September. There is the Midwest Gaming Classic in March or April. That's in Milwaukee. Then there's a Video Game Summit in Chicago. That's usually in July. And I take, you know, a good chunk of my collection with me, this game library with me, to these places, and we play them. I mean, these games get played all the time. If I ever find a game that's just not getting touched, and it's been 6 months to a year, why the hell do I have it? Like, I don't want it. I don't want to take up room on the shelf. Every time I buy games, I need to find spots, you know, to put these games. So that's why it never really gets too crazy, because if I ever buy a couple games on eBay and I'm like, wow, I really need to make room for these games, I'll put some games up for a raffle on Facebook groups or forums or whatever and trade them off. So I don't think I'm any better than anyone else either. I don't think collectors are bad people. Like I said, I know lots of people that collect, that have collections that, you know, they just put them on their shelves and that's what they like. You know, there's guys with like 15 to 20 Super CD system cards for the the PC Engine. Like, why do you have all those? Well, because I like collecting them. And it's like, okay, that's cool. I'm not generally a person that gives people a lot of shit for collecting stuff, but I'm just saying, if you're jumping into a community, and I keep saying this, it sounds like a fucking broken record, but if you jump into a community and you tell people that you're just there to collect them, you're going to be sealing them up, or you're specifically looking for sealed games, you're going to get some people upset. And usually it's the longer term forum members that have been around for a long time that you're going to make upset with that. So, I don't know, just be on alert and try to think before you post things, and game on, yo. That's what we're here for. Video games are to be played. So I hope you all learned a valuable lesson. I seriously doubt that. But if you ever have any questions, you can always message me here on this YouTube channel, or you can probably find me on any of those websites, forums, PCEngineFX.com, and Facebook and all that jazz too. So thank you for listening to me rant and rave here about shit that probably doesn't really matter to anyone, but I figured it was something I needed to say, and I made it public by posting it for the interwebs to listen to. And I'm done. Sorry for talking for so damn long. I'm a jackass.